Galveston, Texas is located in the Gulf coastal region of the United States in the state of Texas, approximately 47 miles southeast of Houston. The historic community is located right on the Gulf and is popular for beachgoers and history buffs alike. The best way to get to Galveston is by personal car, although the island does have a public bus system.
We are in Galveston, so historic Galveston, Texas. Now, this doesn't look really Texas-y, in the traditional sense of it. It's very old, it's densely populated, very old buildings, right? So it's a very interesting old town. So it has beginnings in the early 1800s, and it served as one of the most wealthy communities in the United States and the wealthiest community in Texas for a very long time. So in the mid 1800s, this was considered the Wall Street of the Southwest. So there was a lot of finance, there was a lot of business, a lot of trade in the area. So the area has undergone urban decay in the last several decades. But what's interesting is it keeps its historic charm. So you're gonna see really old buildings, storefronts, shops. Now we're here in January. It's busiest in the summer, like most destinations. Also, cruise ship ports dock at Galveston. So if you're taking a cruise around the Gulf, you'll likely dock in Galveston. So what's cool about Galveston is you have lots of stores, lots of restaurants, kind of unique, quirky kind of businesses. So it's cool to walk down the main corridor, and that is called the Strand. That's where we are now, the Strand. So that's the center of downtown Galveston and the historic center of Galveston. Now, Galveston isn't a super compact city, so a lot of the destinations we're going to go to in this video, you need a car for. But the downtown area, or the Strand, is the most compact area. So you could walk this, and that's why it's a destination for cruise ships. Some history about it. Like I mentioned before, it was a very wealthy community. It also developed a seedy underbelly. So there was a lot of organized crime in this area. There also was a very large red light district. Think of like a seedy saloon kind of area, right? So that happened here. Also, interestingly, Galveston and this specific area was the second largest immigrant port in the United States after Ellis Island in New York City. A lot of people don't know that. So this area of Texas received a lot of second wave immigrants in the 1800s. So you'll see Italian, Irish, Polish, German, people like that. So that population really grew here. So it's not your traditional Texas community, but it really is something to see. So let's take a look. So one of the things you have to do in Galveston is to see the Old City Cemetery. So it's actually a collection of 4 different cemeteries, and most of the graves are from the 1830s and 1840s, about that time, you know, plus or minus a couple decades. So what's interesting about it is you see a lot of really old burial sites, right? And people that were important here in the city of Galveston as it was growing in the early to mid 19th century. What else is interesting about it is it is considered the most haunted cemetery in Texas and one of the most haunted cemeteries in the United States. So there are a lot of ghost tours. You can get them in Galveston. It's a little bit of a drive from the main city center, but there's parking and you can actually go into it. It's cool to see. You can also do the ghost tour. That's pretty interesting. So check that out. You know, people they take pictures. Maybe you'll see one on this actual video, and they find later that there's kind of orbs and ghosts and spirits and they see in them. So if you're interested in the paranormal, this is definitely an interesting place to go. And if you're interested in the history of Galveston, there are a lot of prominent Galveston people buried here. So take a look now. Now, what you'll notice when you're here in the old cemetery of Galveston is that it is split up by ethnic nationality, right? So there is a Jewish section, there's a Catholic section, and even within that, you'll see Irish, Polish, a lot of Italian names sprinkled throughout the area. So it's split up by nationality, really. So you'll notice that as you go about. And then the more wealthy people had the larger mausoleums. So you'll see that as you go too. Now here in Galveston, there's a district and it's along Broadway, which is the main corridor. And there are a bunch of opulent, very old Victorian homes. And the most famous by far is behind me, the Moody Mansion. Now the history of the Moody Mansion is that it was built in 1893 and it was commissioned by a socialite here in Galveston named Narcissa Williams. And it was commissioned by her, and her husband had it built, right? And it was eventually taken over in 1899 by the famous Moody family, which is a financier here in Galveston. Now, the home is very beautiful, very ornate. There are tours of the home that you can do. And the inside is just very Texas style, but also very Victorian style. So you're gonna kind of see that blend in the architecture style. Also, it houses the Galveston Children's Museum. So you can come here, you can spend an hour here, you get a full tour of the mansion. You can see the grounds, and then you can also go to the Children's Museum if you have kids. So it's definitely something to see while you're here in Galveston. Let's take a look. the section that we're in now is called Seawall. Now what Seawall is, it's a boulevard that runs right along the Gulf Coast, and you're literally right next to the ocean. Now, something I find interesting about the Galveston beach is that it's a very short beach. It's not like many other beaches where you have, you know, several blocks and almost a half mile to the water, right? So it's the street, it's a short beach, and then you're right at the water. Another cool thing to do in Seawall is it's not super compact. You can walk it, and in the summertime it's much more lively. We're here in January, but I'm still wearing short sleeves, so that's pretty cool. But there's a lot of Cajun seafood places and things you can walk along or drive along. It's not super compact, but there are a lot of restaurants along here. So here's the water here. Take a look at this. That is the boulevard, and there's one of the seafood places. Now the one we just saw there, Benno's Cajun Seafood, I recommend having this one here if you want to get a taste of that Texas Cajun seafood vibe. Now, as you move along here on Galveston Island, as you move along the seawall, you're going to get a lot more like seaside restaurants. You're going to get kind of more seaside tourist attractions. And one big thing that you have to see is the Galveston Island Historic Pleasure Pier. So basically what it is it is a amusement park, juts right out to the ocean on wooden stilts. So take a look at that here. So what is the seawall? So the seawall is a man-made wall that hugs the coastline all along Galveston. And it was constructed in 1901 because there was a major hurricane with huge loss of life in the beginning of the 20th century. So what's interesting about the seawall, and it's right next to the pleasure pier, and it goes all along the coast, is that it's actually engineered to curve inward to deflect waves if there's a hurricane. So it's fluid dynamics, and it has been proven to significantly reduce hurricane swells and waves and save people's lives, basically. So it's an engineering feat, and it goes for miles and miles along Galveston. It's pretty cool to see. So when you come here to Galveston, you can walk all along the beach here and see the seawall, and you can see kind of where it curves in. And as you go, there's little plaques explaining, you know, what specific parts of it mean. But if you're interested in engineering and fluid dynamics and anything like that, it's definitely something to take a look at. Another really cool mansion here in Galveston is called the Bishop's Palace, which we are right next to now. So now the Bishop's Palace was built by a wealthy family in the 1890s called the Greshams, right? And it's a 19,000 square foot, beautiful, amazing mansion. I mean, it really has such character and has such grandiosity and opulence. It's something to see. Now, you can take tours of the mansion. They're $15 a ticket, and the last ticket sold at 4 p.m. And you can go in there, look at the mansion, look at the inside, look at the detail, the style of the family. It's really something to see. So, where it got its name from, Bishop's Palace. So, in 1923, the Archdiocese of Galveston purchased the building, and it served as the home of the bishop of the Archdiocese. So that's how it gets named Bishop's Palace. So let's take a look. Now, directly across the street from the Bishop's Palace is Sacred Heart Church. Now, the church was constructed in around 1903 to 1904. Now, it wasn't the first Catholic church in the area. There have been Catholic churches in Galveston as early as the 1830s. But what's so great about it is it served as the most prominent church in the area, and it really is very beautiful. And some of the most prominent figures in Galveston worshipped here at Sacred Heart Catholic Church. So take a look at it here. Galveston comes from a maritime past, and there's also a seaport right here about 2 blocks away from the Strand. So I also encourage you to check that out when you're here in Galveston. There's a lot of restaurants, you know, seafood, things like that. So that was Galveston, guys. It's a historic neighborhood. It's very different than a lot of Texas. And it's mostly a summer community, and it's much more lively than when we were here, but it's definitely something to see. You know, you have the old mansions, you have the beautiful beach, the pleasure pier, you have the historic center. It's something really to see when you're here on the Gulf Coast. So guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe, like, share this video, leave me a comment below on any of your tips about Galveston, and until next time guys, take care, bye.